doggy was hiccuping. Alright, so a YouTuber by the name I'm Really Important, I don't know anything about them, but I found the video and it seems pretty good, went to the March for Medicare for All and caught up with Fiorella Isabel after her microphone was cut and she was censored at the March for Medicare for All rally in Los Angeles. Now, first of all, I want to say, I think that a lot of very, very, very noble and good people are organizing in this March for Medicare for All. I very much so disagree strongly with a lot of the head organizers and a lot of the speakers. I think most of the mainstream, like, popular speakers that they've been advertising are pretty horrible people, from Jimmy Dore to the Convo Couch, you know, to Nick Brana, to all these other kinds of people. I think most of them are pretty bad. But that being said, I just want to say I do support people organizing. I know that this can be a potential founding, you know, protest for people, like, you know, people's first protest potentially, and so I support anyone and everyone protesting. But we have to understand, I think that it's very, very clearly the case that this march is being utilized, and basically the only reason it even exists in its current form is because of right-wingers in sheep's clothing trying to profit from it. So with that being said, I'm Really Important caught up with Fiorella Isabel after she was censored by big tech and big pharma, and so let's check this out.
Because I guess I was getting...
Alright, I gotta turn the fucking volume up. Hold the phone, folks. Hold the motherfucking phone. I hope I don't get demonetized from this fucking... background music.
I'm gonna continue doing journalism.
No.
Medicare for we have.
What is in the future for you?
I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna continue doing journalism. We want to do more on the ground stuff. I went to Peru. I want to go to Cuba. You know, they cut my mic off because I guess I was getting too anti-imperialist, anti-authoritarian.
Right. So now, again, I covered her little speech moment when the mic got cut off. So now again, this is confirmed. I mean, this is beyond the shadow of a doubt. Her mic was censored because she was getting a little bit too anti-imperialist. I don't know what that means. Now, I want to remind everyone that Fiorella Isabel does not support Medicare for All. She did not support Bernie Sanders in the 2020 primary, and as of a week ago, she was in Twitter arguments basically defending the idea that Medicare for All is not important. Basically saying she does not agree with the policy of Medicare for All. She says that she wants universal health care, but she doesn't want it to be subsidized by the government or some... I don't know. Anyway, she's also part of a podcast where the co-host was kicked out of the march for COVID conspiracy theories. So, very, very interesting. But she's also anti-imperialist. Now, my question, right, is what does being too anti-imperialist mean? To me, I feel like there's, I guess, degrees, right? But it's like, what would be the dividing, like, okay, so, you know, you want to decrease the military budget like 99% instead of 97%? Is that too anti-imperialist? I don't know what too anti-imperialist means. But anyway, let's go on.
Yeah.
And what, you know, we all are for Medicare for All, but that's not the end of the fight. Our government hasn't been successful in any way with anything. What makes us think that just getting that is going to be it?
True.
We need to continue fighting for as long as we can for whatever.
What do you
So
think
that
we do
I do
with
agree with. I do want to say I do agree with the idea that Medicare for All isn't the only thing we have to fight for. But I'm very excited to know what Fiorella Isabel also wants to fight for. So let's continue.
squad members that aren't doing jack shit?
I think that they're...
So I'm under the impression that I'm Really Important is doing this ironically and asking silly questions ironically to get them to say stupid shit. So the question here is the squad. Basically, they're a bunch of losers, so let's watch.
Public relations specialists, narrative managers, they're only there for their careers.
Yep.
They're not only there for photo ops. We'll see what Cori Bush does now, because I do applaud her for going there.
Yep.
We'll see what she does going forward, because you know what? They haven't at all promoted the march. We have Nina Turner and AOC doing an event the same day. They knew this march was organized since January.
Wait,
They
Nina
have
Turner too?
Yes.
She's not doing anything today?
No, she...
So, okay, now, for those of you that don't know, Cori Bush was heckled and yelled at the March for Medicare for All in Washington, D.C. And then basically someone said, forced to vote, forced to vote, forced to vote, ah! Forced to vote, right? And so basically she was like, yikes, I'm out of here. And so that's what Fiorella Isabel is referencing here. But, you know, again, these people, obviously Cori Bush is only in it for photo ops, you know, like, I mean, if you've seen anything she's ever said, if you were in any capacity paying attention to her primary run and all that other stuff, you would know that she was only in it for photo ops. She is not a left-winger. She's a neoliberal shill, obviously. So let's continue.
She's doing an event with AOC earlier. She did it at the same time the march was going on, 2 hours away. But this event in Ohio was organized months ago.
Damn.
So they knew, and they've been contacted with the organizers, and they knew that this was happening, and they chose to make an event on the same day at the same time.
What is their excuse for not...
I mean, okay, now let's be honest here. It's Saturday. Like, there's 7 days a week, right? Let's be honest here. There's 7 days a week. Saturday, when you're going to do an event and you want to get as many people there as possible, Saturday is typically the best day because it's the weekend. A lot of people are off, right? So, okay, so you're telling me someone in an election that ends in like 2 weeks is campaigning. There's like 2 or 3 Saturdays left before the election, and they're campaigning on a Saturday? Wow. I mean, that's crazy. So, like...
pushing Medicare for all.
Actually, according to the Washington Post, which Nina Turner just did an interview with, she said that they have to push for policies that are achievable right now, not projects that are... That's what she said, and you can check out the Washington Post. I think Dave Weigel is the one.
He's awesome.
Yeah, so... not my favorite guy, but he was actually able to ask her some good questions.
Yeah.
And that's what she said. So to me, that's another way of saying it's pie in the sky. You know, wait.
Okay, I'm so confused by this. So, okay. Nina Turner says we got to push for what we can get right now. Now, again, I need everyone to understand. Medicare for All will not pass Congress or be signed by the president as the Congress and the presidency is constituted right now. Not going to happen. I'm just letting you know, it's not going to happen. So what Nina Turner is saying is they're going to do as much and maximize the progress as possible and then fight for next elections to get more people on the co-sponsor list to get Medicare for All at some point in the future. Now, again, the common response to this is, oh, we can't wait. Yeah, I know we can't wait. I'm right there with you. I'm not like, I don't have insurance. Like, my insurance is going to run out in like 6 months because of the 26 age cutoff. Right, so I'm right there with you. I'm freaking the fuck out about that shit. But at least I understand what's actually real here. And there's actually a long-term strategy. Not even a long-term strategy. If all these people that did the march were also spending their energy trying to get more co-sponsors on the legislation, they would have a better net effect than what they're doing right now. Having a march in all these cities is great for the photo ops, absolutely 100%, but it's not organizing people into doing anything in any sort of term that's actually going to get us what we need. Why don't people organize marches to maybe get government subsidies from their local, maybe like, organize marches in states that have an expanded Medicaid, for example, something that can happen now, like they can just, they can try their best to pressure the governor. That's the thing that they could do. Why don't they do that? But they're all doing these marches here, and then they're funneling all this righteous anger into something that's useless. Like, it doesn't do anything. So, and that's my problem here. And then they're saying anyone who's trying to do something, we don't have time to wait. We don't have time to wait. We don't have time to wait. Well, I mean, you're going to wait regardless. Like, if you don't have time to wait, then maybe go live your life and spend your last moments with your family instead of doing this bizarre shit online. But, like, again, I need you to understand that they're trying to funnel people's righteous anger into something that's unproductive.
Wait your turn. That's another way of saying it. We don't have time for that right now. If they didn't give us healthcare during a pandemic, what makes you think that they're going to give you healthcare willingly? It's time for direct action. It's time to take to the streets. We're not going to get this from electoralism.
You were a big fan of Tulsi for a long time.
So, again, Medicare for All is a policy that Fiorella Isabel does not support, by the way. It is a policy. How? Now, I genuinely, if we're not going to go through electoralism, hey, I'm an anarchist, right? So I'm down with this. What is your alternative? Are you saying it is more likely that we have an anarchist communist revolution and then somehow manage to take over the government and then somehow manage to institute using the governmental apparatus to give us universal health care? Or like, are we gonna capture all the doctors and force them to treat people? Like, I'm genuinely asking. If without going through the electoral strategy, how do you accomplish a universal healthcare system in the United States of America as it's constituted right now? I'm genuinely, like, if you like just march in the street, like you get health insurance or something, like you just attend 60 protests in a row and then you get health insurance. Is it like an achievement on an Xbox game? I'm really trying to figure this out. I just don't know. I have no idea what their alternative is. And so again, they're saying, don't support any politicians. Politicians are evil. Politicians are evil. Just join our march. Subscribe to me on Patreon. They're not giving you an alternative. I'm down with direct action. I do protests all the time. So I'm willing and ready to do some direct action. But where's the ideas? I really just don't know.
Time? Are you still on board with her? What is she up to?
I like Tulsi. You know, I voted for Bernie in the primary. I like Tulsi because she was more focused on foreign policy, and I felt that was lacking in Bernie's campaign. She's no longer in Congress. She's no longer in office. I think she said some great things about Elon Musk and how he is, you know, how the wealth gap between the rich and the poor has widened. And I think it's left to be determined to see if she's actually going to be on board with some of the more leftist policies, like not just Medicare for all, because she had her own thing, which was very similar to the Australian system, but just consistency on being anti-war. I'd like to see that. I think we need more of that.
Like, that's the thing. I don't understand this anti-war thing. I'm going to speed the video up a little bit, folks. But like this, like Tulsi Gabbard was not anti-war. Like that's another like hardcore, like you've never opened a book in your whole life kind of conspiracy theory.
Because all of these things are connected. Anti-imperialism is where all of our money is going, and all of our attention is from the government is going there, and we're not giving people what they need. So meanwhile, we're invading and bombing these countries, yet the American people aren't even seeing it. It's only the oligarchs that
just bombed Afghanistan.
Afghanistan, Somalia as well.
Yeah, is there a politician that you like and are excited about?
No,
not one. Not even Bernie at this point.
No, Bernie had two chances to call out the fraud that they did to him in 2016 and 2020, and he didn't do it. People were ready to do that, and now who's calling out fraud? It's the right. The right are the ones fighting for it. We need the left to get on board. We don't have fair elections in this country. I just got back from Peru. They have more transparent and fair elections there. Paper ballots, the fraud that the right are the ones fighting for it. We need the left to. He didn't do it. People were ready to do that, and now who's calling out fraud? It's the right. The right are the ones fighting for it. We need the left.
Whoa! Calling out fraud. The right. I almost missed that. The right is calling out fraud. What? Now again, I want to remind everyone, Fiorella Isabel is unsure on the winner of the 2020 election. Obviously, as we know, considering it's July, Joe Biden won the 2020 election. But she has been on this beat where like, oh, well, election integrity, the machines. Who knows about the machines? I don't know who really won. She's been on that beat for a while now. And now she's saying, oh yeah, the right, they're the ones calling out fraud. Yeah, that would be cool, except the only problem is the fraud they're calling out doesn't exist. In the same way that when y'all call out the fraud squad, that is similarly very bogus because there is no fraud squad. The things you're saying didn't happen. And the world that you live in isn't congruent with reality. So that's really interesting. So the right are the ones that are actually protesting. Okay.
To get on board. We don't have fair elections in this country. I just got back from Peru. They have more transparent and fair elections there. Paper ballots, like everything is trackable. Here we don't have that. So to me, it's like if you're not going to fight to make sure that our election system is has an even platform that third parties can come in and do it, then any sort of electoral process.
Now again, she is anti-electoralism, but is now shilling for a third party. How many members of Congress have third parties, that is to say, not the Democrat Party, not the Republic Party? How many members of Congress have been elected by other parties in the last 20, 30 years? Right, okay? How many members of Congress were elected as independents? That is to say, they had no party. more people got elected to Congress as independents, no party affiliation, than having any party affiliation that wasn't Democrat or Republican. So what is going on with this third party bullshit? Like, so again, I want you to understand, the movement for a People's Party is just a way for them to funnel energy into something unproductive. How many members of Congress that are left-wing, or at least ostensibly left-wing, as they're saying, got into Congress on the Democratic Party by primarying corporate Democrats? Last time I checked, we got like a solid 10 or so. Right, so like, I'm just and that's only in 2 years versus 20 years versus 30 years. And again, this whole thing with her, like, appealing to the right election integrity, it's a bunch of bunk. Donald Trump's a loser. Why is anyone who's claiming to be a leftist out there defending Trump's fraud bullshit? Seriously, what is going on here? I need you to ask these questions if you follow this person.
Like, the issue right now is I think we have to be on the ground and demand more from our politicians. So
Seems like a heavy lift, man. It
Yeah,
seems like...
So we simultaneously can't expect anything from politicians, but we need to beg politicians for mercy at all times? What? Like, I'm trying to figure this out. The best way, in my opinion, to make the left actually gain institutional power, significant institutional power in the United States, would be to massively educate people so that they are more supportive of left-wing policies and are more educated on foreign policy and current affairs. That's the best way I can think of to actually make actual electoral progress. And that's been happening pretty well. We're doing a decent job of that. Obviously, we need to be way better at it. But that, to me, if your goal is to make progressives and leftist policies win, the best way to do that is by convincing actually everyone that you live around that these are the ways to go. Now, again, that's a harder path. That would require a lot more work. But what is, like, how else do you get a major institutional policy like Medicare for All? You can't throw a soup can at a window and then Medicare for All, we got it. Now, again, I am not saying that I am not in favor of direct action and protesting in that fashion. I'm not whatsoever saying that. I'm saying that this commentary is incoherent in regards to getting Medicare for All. She's just spewing a bunch of bullshit. It's gish gallop.
we need more of this. We need more people to get out in the streets. It starts with something. It started with Force the Vote, where we had like 40, 50 people show up, and then, you know, it gradually grows like that.
It wasn't like Bernie Sanders ran in 2016 on a platform of Medicare. Nah. That didn't happen. It wasn't like in 2017 and 18, Bernie Sanders' coalition and movement worked to elect people like AOC and Ilhan Omar and Rashida, and they all support Medicare. Nah. Never happened, folks. It wasn't like, you know, there was a 2020 primary, right? You know, probably the most important election of our lifetimes, and we fucked it up, folks. I'm sorry, but we fucked that up. Right, it's not like they were trying once again to get Medicare for All, and then when Bernie Sanders lost the primary, he used this movement to elect other members of Congress that supported Medicare for All. Nope. That never happened. Year one, history starts when Jimmy Dore said hashtag force the vote on Twitter. That's where history starts. Everything before that doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. It all started with force the vote. That's what they're I'm telling you this, folks. This is QAnon on the left. They're wrapping you into a fantasy ideology, right? And it has its own unique history. Right? Like, that's what this is. It has, oh yeah, no, nothing happened. No one ever said anything about Medicare for All until Jimmy Dore enforced the vote. People actually believe that. They actually believe that. That, like, fighting for Medicare for All started in December of 2020. They actually think that. Let's go on.
What I really liked about in January when we were there for Force the Vote was that the Assange activists came in and also supported it, and vice versa. And I think that's how you build a general strike. You can't just build a general strike overnight. It takes time and mutual aid, and that's one thing that we have to focus on.
Do you worry about rubbing shoulders with certain people on the right? So, for example, Jimmy did a video about Fauci lied.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've done a video on that, but
yes.
I mean, these are right-wing talking points. Right-wing in the sense that they're using them too.
Yeah.
And does that bother you to be associated with like the right in that sense, or are you like, let's hold hands, we'll do whatever the hell we can?
I think acknowledging when somebody is right doesn't mean you're holding hands with them. I think there's a difference between saying, hey, that person said something right and they may be on the right, to, oh, I'm going to change my beliefs and suddenly become a right-winger. I think the left is too quick to cancel people simply for talking to the other side. And I think people like Glenn Greenwald are getting like canceled for like simply talking about the truth about what really happened on January 6th, which wasn't what was told on mainstream media. I was there as well.
So again, now I'm just speaking for myself here. Glenn Greenwald hasn't been canceled for being a right-wing apologist and propagandist on January 6th. I canceled him for being a blatant transphobe, and he even is against bisexual people. Who hates bisexual people? Who does that? Glenn Greenwald does that. The guy's a loser. He's a freak show. He's out of control, right? And he also engages in right-wing conspiracy theories when it comes to January 6th. So does Ben Burgess, by the way, but that's a whole different story. So I don't understand. There's a difference. Now again, is there a phenomenon where people are quick to cancel people and it's probably a bad thing? Yeah, definitely. But to conflate that phenomenon and use examples of people that haven't been canceled is ridiculous. Glenn Greenwald has millions of followers. He goes on Fox News and has a primetime slot on Tucker Carlson's show frequently, which is the most popular cable news show in America. That's not canceled. I'm telling you that right now. That is not canceled. I'm just letting you know. So, if your example, and again, this is all, again, taking an actual concern that some people have, cancel culture. Right, an actual concern some people have, and funneling it into stupid shit. Like imagine, oh, yes, this guy with 2 million followers on Twitter got canceled. What? Huh? Meanwhile, Fiorella Isabel has tried to cancel me many, many times. So I'm just saying, like,
I think there's a difference between working towards a goal and me changing my perspective and suddenly becoming a right-winger simply because I said Tucker Carlson has Jimmy Dore on his show, and I think that's a good thing. I think people are...
Now, again, I want to be very clear. Again, another situation where they conflate a bunch of things. Jimmy Dore going on Tucker Carlson's show, is that a good thing? It depends. Now, some people say going on Tucker Carlson's show at all, even if you're combative, is bad. I disagree with that. If you go on Tucker Carlson's show and actually do anything in favor of left-wing policies, I consider that a win. Jimmy Dore does not do that. He goes on Tucker Carlson's show and then says, the Democrats are evil, AOC is evil, force the vote, force the vote. So he's going on there to be the, quote, left-winger that hates on left-wingers. That's what he's doing. That's his role on Tucker Carlson's show, right? And so again, but Fiorella's not going to analyze the nuance. She's just going to go to, again, a sillier argument that maybe some neoliberal politicians or people in the media game think, where you shouldn't go on Tucker Carlson's show at all. If I got invited on Tucker Carlson's show, I'm telling you right now, I would go on, and I wouldn't even hesitate, right? So I'm just letting you know about that. But I also wouldn't go on there and say, force the vote, force the vote, force the vote, blah, force the vote, because I'm not a freak show. I'm not a loser. I'm not like, and so again, this is like, she's given the whole spiel here, and this is why I love this video.
Touchy about those things, and I think, if we're talking about Corona, Fauci did lie, and if
all right, folks, all right, I gotta cut it here. I'm not even, woo! Empire Education. Fred Hampton is one of the people. Oh my god. Another common thing is Fred Hampton worked with neo-Nazis. He never worked with neo-Nazis. That didn't happen. Like, Fred Hampton worked with working class people, yes, and they say that in defense of working with literal neo-Nazis. Again, these motherfuckers are crazy. They're absolutely out of control. Okay, we're talking about infiltrating. Let's go.
That was true. That the FBI, I mean, for the longest time, state agencies have been infiltrating leftist movements because they know that the left is easily duped. The right, it's not a monolith, but they're more able to unite. We saw what happened with Boehner when the Tea Party took over.
Yeah, it's almost like an entire concept, fascism, built around the idea that you follow the leader is more easy to get people wrapped up into than the concept of freedom, where people have their own, like, free will and can do whatever they want as long as they don't harm anyone else. Right? Oh, if someone is predisposed to worshiping a leader, it's like, it might be pretty easy to get them to worship a leader. If people are predisposed to not worshiping leaders and being anti-authoritarian, by nature, it's going to be more difficult to corral them into a single group because of the fact that they're anti-authoritarian. That's kind of like baked in. So again, I don't understand. You cannot learn things from the Tea Party. You just can't. They were funded by billionaires, folks. They were crazy, and they were funded by billionaires. The left ain't funded by billionaires. We can't even agree on a presidential candidate, for God's sakes. What was going on with Tulsi Gabbard and Andrew Yang and that bullshit? And Elizabeth Warren? My God. We can't even agree on a presidential candidate when it was a Bernie versus Biden race. We fucked it up. Because we're dumb. The left in America is dumb. We are fucking stupid. The FBI doesn't need to infiltrate us because we infiltrate ourselves because we're fucking dumb. And we have to stop being dumb. And my problem with left-wingers that listen to people like this is that they are dumb and they're getting dumber. I want people to find my show and then get smarter. Or at least, maybe not from me, but maybe I say something that puts them on a good path to where they don't fall down this rabbit hole. As long as you don't get dumber. Because we're already pretty dumb. We're already as a left movement in this country, we are already pretty dumb, right? And we need to stop getting dumber and get much smarter. And that's, I think, and again, I think most people understand that, and most people are working on our flaws. Most people understand the goal, and most people aren't getting distracted. But in the online media world, for whatever reason, this this particular brand of person is gaining a lot more steam. The dumb left, the people that get dumber and dumber as time goes by. I know the pandemic fucked with our, with our brains. I know the pandemic fucked with our social lives. But seriously, some of these motherfuckers need to go outside. But apparently also going outside, a lot of them are outside right now. Apparently that didn't do the trick. So it's almost like it got in too deep. I want you to understand, this is not the rabbit hole you go down. They are funneling your energy into something unproductive and stupid, and it's really silly. And these people are gaining momentum. They're gaining popularity. They are increasing their reach. And that's really bad. Like, that's like a huge problem. And Lord have mercy. She doesn't even support Medicare for All, and she went to the Medicare for All march and is trying to out-left everyone else. It's fascinating. It's fascinating. Not only that people will do this and are capable of lying or being so stupid in public, but that people look at it and go, that's who I'm going to follow? I'm going to listen to the Convo Couch. Yeah, that's where I get my news from. What? Who does that? Like, who does that? Apparently they do. But again, it's crazy shit. It's crazy shit.